Our team will sit and work in a seat for 8 hours to sort of mimic that long-haul flight.
I find design is something that's really powerful, right? It's not about just aesthetics, it's about creating environments that enhance the sense of well-being. And I'm just curious, how do you approach design?
We're designing a seat that needs to be all the things in one. It's a living room, it's a dining room, it's an office.
Exactly.
And so how do we make sure that we're creating that form and function and the practicality of being able to meet all the needs of our customers that are all shapes and sizes, flying with us for short and longer periods of time. So it keeps it fun and we have to get creative. We spend a lot of time researching and understanding customer behavior and putting heart rate monitors on customers from the moment they start their travel journey, so curb to claim, if you will, to really track where those stressor moments are, which really helps us design around that. A lot of the stress happens before they even get to the plane. And so really that moment when you get on board is about that deceleration and thinking about how we select patterns and colors and textures that are more soothing, calming, that really then sets our flight attendants up to create that connection.
Yeah.
And so that's really where sort of the magic happens, when it's the physical, the digital, and the human all coming together.
We think of as a home as something that's just for one set of people or a family, but there's a lot to think about when we're designing too, is, you learn as you go, right? This element of like you test something and you iterate. And I'm so curious how you think about creating those personal touch points throughout the journey, right?
We spend a lot of time workshopping and with focus groups to get as many perspectives on the design stage of the process. One of our customer habits and trends that we're seeing is privacy. And so one of our newest domestic first class products, we were very intentional on having longer headrests. Something else we've seen is something like sleep and how generally the majority of adults sleep on their side, for example. And so as we're thinking about our business class, making sure that there's not just the bed length, but also that knee space, freedom of movement. And so all of those things of understanding just general habits help inform how we then choose our designs in the onboard space.
I think one of the things I love about air travel is like also the lighting, right? The lighting, it plays a big role in thinking about what's that ambiance when you get on and how does it set the tone for your journey?
I think we've all been in spaces where it didn't feel quite right and it perhaps was the lighting was too bright or too harsh. And even things like, that all-important selfie on the plane, and once again, making sure we have sort of that optimal lighting. We also need different scenarios of lighting depending on the phases of flight.
In terms of talking about lighting, I think the next thing is really think about materials. We also think about longevity and durability.
Yeah, I think that durability and longevity, it is critical as we've got over 200 million customers coming on our planes every year, 4,000 flights a day. And so we do a lot of pressure mapping, cycle testing to understand how it's going to perform, but even how the customer is going to experience it over the duration of their flight with us. So our team will sit and work in a seat for 8 hours to sort of mimic that long-haul flight. We're always using a sort of test and learn model and always gathering feedback from both our flight attendants, our customers, but also our cabin maintenance team who needs to maintain this. We want it to still be distinctly Delta so that you feel like you're at home with Delta. It feels familiar, but then also, the materials can handle scuffs and scratches and, it's going through a lot.
I keep that in mind a lot too, is like, will kids be jumping on furniture? Will they be spilling things? And I use a lot of outdoor fabrics indoors. We do a lot of things that are really tightly woven. I try to stay away from solids because I know that's a way, when you have two tones, it enables you to kind of hide anything that happens.
Even as we think about the carpet on board and knowing that we're gonna need to replace it at certain increments, using tiles versus longer rolls, we give some different textures and multiple colors to help hide some of the crumbs. I mean, we all know we love our Biscoff cookies, but they can also end up on the floor as well.
I think you touch on a lot of those points that we think about too in design at a home, is we have to think of the baseboard, the crown molding, the trim, the reveal, like all the materials coming together. It's a lot. It's a sort of big performance. And the best part is seeing our clients' reaction when they walk in the door at their big reveal.
That collective process of everyone coming together is what's most exciting about what we do every day.